We watched She-Hulk episode 8, so you know what time it is.
Hit that intro!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Trying something different there. For you guys. All right, everybody.
Getting our Hulk Hogan on.
Yeah. You know it, brother. You know it. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, that's right. So, hey, everybody, welcome. We're two dads who love all things fandom, from Star Wars to Star Trek, Marvel to DC, and Middle Earth on down to Westeros. We love it all, and we want to bring all of our insights and love of all things nerdy to you, our viewers. So if that's your glass of apple martini, then we're here for you. And you should definitely subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of the amazing reviews and insights that we have about all of our favorite fandoms. So thanks for tuning in, guys. My name is Chris Matthews, and I'm joined, as always, by the real Daredevil himself, my buddy, Mr. Matt Parham. How you doing today,
Can totally
brother?
see. I have no visual acuity problems.
None
or
at
echolocation.
all. Yeah.
I'm not gifted in that way.
Yeah.
Fact,
Lesser version of Daredevil.
Right.
In fact, the only thing they have in common is the name Matt, right?
That's
Matt
true.
Murdock, Matt Parham. They're not.
That's right.
He's not a lawyer. He's not an avocado in law. So.
Yeah. Don't have an attraction to tall green women.
No.
So
let's get right into it, guys. Guess what we watched? We watched She-Hulk episode 8, Ribbit and Rip It. Probably one of my favorite titles of this series so far.
Yeah.
Directed by Kat Coiro and written by Cody Ziglar. And once again, guys, this episode, if you look up on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know what's going on, but it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, the critic.
Well, let's quantify it again, like we did with Andor. What's our sample size here?
Our sample size on this one, it's pretty low. It's 9.
Okay.
It just came
Not
out.
saying
grain of
it's
salt.
invalidating those 9 people's opinions, but
High praise from those 9 critics, though. Let's find out what these two dads think about it. So let's hit it, brother. What did you think about this episode of She-Hulk?
Well, I mean, it was interesting. I felt
Finally,
like,
Daredevil, man. Finally.
Yeah, we finally get Daredevil, and he did exactly what we've been predicting all along. You know, he was the opposing. He was the defendants. No, he wasn't the defendants' counsel. He was. Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was the defendants' counsel
because Leapfrog was suing. Yeah. So we called that from the beginning. We also called, I think it was last week or the week before, that he would serve as a romantic love interest for
saw that
Jennifer
coming
Walters.
a mile away. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's eye-rolling for me, but it makes sense. There's a connection. They're both lawyers. They're both superheroes, and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Matt, but I did feel like there was some chemistry there, though, too. Did you feel that at all, or no?
I mean, I didn't. Yeah, but that's because I just felt like it was obvious that we were going that direction.
Yeah, and I was so curious to see how they were going to play Matt Murdock in this series. You know, that's more of a sitcom procedural show that we have. It's a different type of entity for Marvel that we got. And I actually really enjoyed what they did with Daredevil and Matt Murdock. I thought they did really well towing that line.
Yeah, well, I think part of it is just that Charlie Cox is really good in that role.
Charismatic, he's really good in that role.
Yeah, he's always been great.
It's like Robert Downey Jr. I can't imagine anybody else as Daredevil.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
It's the same type of thing.
Right. I can imagine Ben Affleck as Daredevil, but I mean that movie.
I try
went
not
the
to
way it
imagine
did.
that. I try not to remember that.
And no shade on Ben Affleck. It was I don't know. It was kind of hitting one of those downward slopes on the superhero movie roller coaster that we've had throughout the past couple of decades, to no fault of his own. But Matt Murdock has been, I think, quintessentially fleshed out by the previous Netflix series through the wonderful portrayal by Charlie Cox, and we did get a lot of that in this episode. I did wish that they didn't send him off, just like, okay, he does the walk of shame, and that's pretty much it. He's headed back to New York.
I really like the walk of shame in this episode.
I liked the actual scene, and I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But I was just like, that's it, huh? But we got that great fourth wall breaking again, though. I did really like a return to form as far as that goes, and that it did feel kind of like there were not really any other plot points they were going to explore, and she's just kind of sitting there like, well, this feels like it should be over, and then we get to the finale of that episode, leading us into next week's series finale.
Yeah, this is the penultimate episode, guys. Yeah, because next week is our season finale, so it's going to wrap up once again, man. Todd shows up again.
And that was kind of my main source of criticism, is that I didn't think it was that bad of an episode until we got to the end, and I just felt like
the whole
for for a series that has really gone out of its way to be a show about a woman superhero and how she struggles to fit into a world dominated by sleazy men. Like, it makes the point that the main bad guys, the intelligentsia here, are smearing her name for no reason. I couldn't even tell from the video that they're putting up there, like, what would everybody's problem be with this content that they're showing us? Like, they said, she's lying about who she is, or she stole the blood of Bruce Banner, but we don't really see any of that.
And there's a ton of content on there just spattered on that screen. So I think the whole purpose of that is what exactly happened. They wanted to rile up She-Hulk so that she would get so mad that she would become a threat. So it didn't really matter what they put up there. It was enough for her. That invasion of privacy was enough for her to just lose it, and that's exactly the response they wanted to have for that moment. So.
Yeah. Obviously, they got her to make everybody afraid of She-Hulk now, and we'll deal with the repercussions of that next week. But and I'm sure we are just blasting towards a Todd Hulk moment.
And it was kind of quite the shift in tone of the show, too, from the bulk of the episode to that end, because that did feel a lot more serious, and I really felt for Jen Walters during that part. But yeah, it was a dramatic shift in there, so that could be a little jarring for the audience as well, because we are very well established with this being a fun, lighthearted, kind of kooky, funny show. So
and I feel like you got to give some weight to it, and they've been doing that here and there, like in last week's episode, giving her, a good emotional moment in the group therapy session, and we're getting past having just kind of these disjointed side stories, which I really like. They're just
no side story again. Yeah, so that's definitely a marked improvement.
And I actually found like the legalese of the show made a little bit of sense for Leapfrog. But
Leapfrog played by Eugene Patelio. He did a great job in this.
Yeah.
Really
he did a great job, but I again felt like they just shortchanged
Ribbit and Rip It.
The character, right? Because I couldn't tell, like, is he a super soldier? Does he just rely on tech? And it's sort of
he's just a rich kid's son
version of Iron,
who doesn't have any powers.
How does right? So at the very beginning of the episode, we have him blast off, fall down, doesn't get injured, and then at the end of the episode, we have the exact same thing happen, and apparently he breaks his leg and needs EMTs. So
I feel like he fell a lot farther that second time around, because I don't know. It just that's what it seemed like me from that perspective. Maybe I'm wrong.
Nah, 6-1 really, but
and maybe he wasn't using jet fuel the second time around.
I imagine JP8 was not part of the formula. So,
and if you guys don't know, Matt's very versed in jet fuel from his military experience.
Yep. He used to be around it quite a bit.
So would it do that? Would he actually have legs if it was really burning on, or would he like melt? Through?
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like it would get hot enough to where it would be more than a 3rd degree burn, though.
No, I mean it would flame up, and I think that's pretty realistic. You know, his clothing was thicker material. It wasn't some kind of cotton or something like that. I mean, we're assuming, based on what Griffin Matthews made for him. Which I gotta say, I didn't find Luke Jacobson to be that off-putting this episode. I know that there's supposed to be a little bit of an annoyance factor built in. But I felt like, okay, he's there, and it's clearly a rip on Edna Mode, and I kind of am annoyed by that, because I think she's the OG, and you shouldn't touch it. But
different universes, brother. Different universes.
I know, but the aesthetic of Edna, just everything worked about her, and both The Incredibles and Incredibles 2 is like, that's done. Do something else. But we got it.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate what Luke Jacobson is doing, and I didn't find it to be, again, that off-putting, other than what he intended. He clearly intends for the character to have some annoyance factor to him.
Oh, for sure. He's a fashion designer, so...
Yeah, but it just... Right, it just seems like we've seen this cliche ever since Zoolander, and it's kind of tired in my opinion, but... Anyway, we got what we got, and I didn't think it was that bad. So ultimately, the rating for me, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It was a pretty good story. I really like Daredevil being back, but I wish that it had given him just a little bit more to do. I thought he'd show up in the finale or something, but or the end of the episode. But
so talking about
Daredevil
will
show
real
up
quick.
In the season finale.
Yeah, right. And talking about Daredevil real quick, what did you think of the new suit? Did you like it? Did you not?
Well, we've seen the yellow. I love the description, the ketchup
the
and
mustard and ketchup. Yeah. Oh man, that was pitch perfect too.
that was a great little one-liner. But
right.
We've seen it in the comics, right?
It's very comic accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. At a certain point, they're going to do it, and we just weren't in that kind of. I don't know. It wasn't that type of show, I felt like, at Netflix. The dark red was what we needed. Yeah, it was a darker tone. And so his introduction in the MCU now had to be a little bit lightened up. But I am worried that they're just going to kind of discard all that stuff, and I really love that Netflix stuff. And
I absolutely love that. And like we talked about before, though, I think that they will incorporate a lot of that stuff in there. A lot of those actors are actually coming back and are going to be incorporated into the MCU. So they're going to take stuff from it. And yeah, like you said, that was my favorite of the Netflix Marvel shows was Daredevil all the way. They handled it with such grace. It's just like I loved it, and it was earnest, and I love the fact that it was dark and it was meaningful. The performances were great with that. This character too, I really like the knowledge and the wisdom that he imparted onto Jen Walters about we do this to pay for the stuff so we can help out the little guy and everything, and you can offer a lot more. Because, he's the perfect person to tell her all this since he's another lawyer superhero. And so he's able to guide her in that way. And that made absolute sense for this character because she's on the fence about what she should be doing, whether or not she should be a superhero or whatnot, and, what she can offer. And I think that Daredevil, at this point in time, can offer her the best advice. And he does. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah. No, I think it worked, and I definitely want to see more of him. I'm anxious to see if maybe we'll get a Born Again tease or something like that at the end of this series.
And that showed, Matt, I don't know if you heard, I think it's going to be 18 episodes of Daredevil.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's intense.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot.
As a circus fire.
Woo! So, and Kingpin's coming back too. So, Vincent D'Onofrio, he'll be back for that role as well. He's going to be in Echo. I think Daredevil's going to show up in Echo as well. So he's going to be sprinkled throughout all these shows, and then he's going to get his own show with Daredevil Reborn, or Born Again.
Yeah.
Daredevil Born Again. So I'm so looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm glad that they were able to pull him off in this kooky show.
It's a little bit of a side note here, but what do you think about Karen Page?
Yeah, I don't know how well she would fit. Like there is definite story that they could have with Karen Page in the future, because in the comics, what happens is she actually spills the beans about his identity, and he has to deal with the repercussions after the fact. So that's a huge storyline from the comics that they can still explore with that character. So should they bring her back? And I've heard like rumors that she might be coming back, but she might not. So I don't think there's anything confirmed with that actress. Okay. So
Deborah Ann Wool, but yeah,
Deborah Ann Wool.
It'd be interesting to see what they would do with all that, especially if there's an actual return. You know, what are we dealing with? Jennifer Walters here. You know, both of them serving as a love interest, but
right. Oh, yeah. I don't think he's coming back though. I don't think that they'll make it into a relationship. And that's in the comics. Matt Murdock is a playboy. He's with somebody new all the time. And I love the character, and I love how he treats people, and his decency and his moral code, basically, when it comes to things. But yeah, I don't like that he can't commit. He can't commit to one person. So. Yeah.
Well, what'd you think, brother? What's your rating?
So my rating for this episode, I'm probably going to give this one, I very much enjoyed it. So I'm going to say 8 out of 10 for me. And you said 7 out of 10 for Matt. So we both really did enjoy it. Can't wait to see the finale next week. We're almost there, brother. We almost through the whole season. And what's the next Marvel project coming up? Ooh.
Wakanda Forever.
Well, the very next thing is Werewolf by Night. And,
that's right.
Yeah,
yes, so we're going to be reviewing that here, aren't we?
Yeah, so me and Matt actually talked about this yesterday, and we are going to be reviewing that. That just dropped on Disney+. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. We're going to be reviewing it this weekend, so we'll check it out. So
the perfect start to our Cinemoctober here.
Yep. Our Spooktober.
Really looking forward to it. Yep.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. It's 54 minutes, so it's a very light movie. Can you even consider that a movie if it's less than an hour long?
According to Arrested Development, if you remember them, what did they kept shortening Love Indubitably or something like that, where it was down to 63 minutes. So
perfect. Yeah. As long as the story makes sense and it's entertaining, that's all I care about. I don't care about the time. So if you don't have enough story for an hour and a half movie, that's fine.
Whatever fits your story.
Whatever floats your boat. So, well, do we have anything else before we get out of this courtroom of She-Hulk?
No, I don't think so. Got that plug in for the next broadcast, so stay tuned, folks. Join us.
Plug it in. Freshen up
for
your air
all
too,
that
guys.
Content, fresh air, and more.
And more
coming to you from these two crazy jackasses.
That's right. So if you enjoy us, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. As always, I mentioned on the last episode, if we get to 100 subscribers, my daughter is going to shave my head, and we're going to have that as a special video for all of you guys. It's going to be... I don't think I've had a shaved head in a long time, Matt. So it's not.
And he said he's going to leave it in between this episode and last episode. He did clarify for everybody. He said he's going to leave whatever she draws up there.
I don't recall. I don't think this will hold up in a court of law here. I don't think that's gonna fly.
We'll ask Jennifer Walters next week.
We'll see once we get 100 subscribers on here. So we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Can't wait to see the next episode. And from our families to yours,
adios.